because there was a war. So some Liberian people are telling us the fact that no NGO here mean the country has. So when they want for the country to go back to war, so NGO can come. No. NGOs respond to national emergencies. After those things they go, you will not judge the country because NGO men are hired 200%, can no longer hire, so they only wait for NGO. No. The country not going back to war. We'll never go back to war. We'll never. The people who want to go back to war are wasting their time. Like people will not go back to war. So NGOs were here, army were here, they were spending a lot of money. That's why we're helping our economy. You go live with your uncle. You say don't pay school fee. I will feed your children. Oh, I'll give you car. Oh, I will pay your rent. You have a ride now, right? You can say your life is improved. You are living with your uncle. You're doing everything for you. You as a person. You getting your small money. What you supposed to be doing? Ain't you supposed to be keeping it? But you keeping it. You say, my uncle rich and he's taking care of me. My own money I'll get, I will enjoy it. So you just do all that one for 4 years. You live with your uncle. One morning you just get it. Say, my man, pack up and leave. My children coming. The way you think I was out doing now. Oh, the man wicked. Oh, I've been with you 4 years. You give me 10. So, brother, what happened in this country? The people brought billions of dollars to this country. At the time they were bringing the money, the government of the day, the Joseph Boakai government, all the people were advising them for 12 years. They were supposed to be planning, saying, when these people go, what will do? They didn't do it. The men were living with uncle. But you know the first thing I said, when the president took over now, he took over the house now, he said, my man, are you the president now? I want money finished. The president said, I beg you, y'all give me 1 year, have workers there. I just stabilize, I'm looking at the budget, I'm looking, everything bad. Just as a president, you ran to fix it. The other people didn't fix it. We're here, there, doing the time. Then we like asking the question, but we need people that were here. Why you're in president all the time? And I asked the former IMF mission chief, Mika Saito, when she came to Liberia, after we structured the IMF program, I talked about all the difficulties, all that I want. I said, let me ask you something, all the mess there. There was an IMF program here on American, on Boima Kamara, and they were here. Why these tough decisions were not made? You know what the mom told me? She said, your president knew, you knew, I knew. Three of us knew. Let's work together and face it. The people who created the best, they're not here again. Let's get down to the way and do it. That's it. So everything that is happening under the man, like tough decision making, and not joke. So you gotta respect him when you see him. You gotta respect him. You know about it? They had no macro. I will give you one startling example. And that one will define the election. Summer 8. In 2011, the country's net reserve, all our money, there was a central bank report. A fact checker, you're listening. Go to the 2011 annual report of the central bank. Boima Kamara, the former finance minister, he is also a former central bank executive. He was the statistician at the central bank, so you know what I'm talking about. He probably wrote this report. And I want you to ask him, and I want the people on the school panel to ask him. The reserve was 337.9 million. In December 2017, 6 years later, the country's reserve was 110 million. The difference between 337.9 and 110 is 200. I told my children give me that. I told my children give me that difference, Jenna. He said it's $227 million. Between 2011 and 2017, the country lost $227 million under Joseph Boakai in all its economic handlers. What were they doing with $227 million? Where is it? Our reserves came down. So this election is about the depletion of our reserve, the throwing away, the wasting and the mismanagement of $227 million. Joshua inherited that. The net reserve Joshua inherited of $110 million. The net reserve as of the last central bank reporting is $332 million. So Tweah has restored and put back $212 million. Joseph Boakai took 226 million, throw it away. George Weah put it back. And what we want to vote on Tuesday. And somebody say the man who put 212 million back in the country's reserve must be replaced by the man who took 227 million and wasted it in the country and we get nothing to show for it. The Liberian people will make that choice on Tuesday. So y'all ask the former finance minister who can be on Spoon. And when the Spoon panelists were asking, what did the country do? This is a factual report. This is not something that I'm making up. This is central bank report. That language here. The bank's net foreign reserve position as at end December 22, 2011 was $337.9 million. I'm reading it from central bank report. Don't go over it. Then I see when you go to the end 2017 report, you will see 110 million. Let the high school students all across the country who want to vote, let them ask Joseph Boakai, what did United Party do with 227 million, and why should they replace George Weah, who has replaced that money by 212 million or more? First fundamental question. That's what the election is about. President Weah faced the crisis of Corona. Corona is nothing. You can't compare Ebola to Corona. A baby. Corona destroyed countries. Africa is in a serious debt crisis today because of Corona. Interest rates have gone. There was a time where after the financial crisis, interest rate was like zero. Interest rate in some countries were negative, meaning they're paying you to keep your money in the bank. Negative rates all over. But there was a country where just start borrowing under that zero interest rate. Recently, what happened after Ukraine war, Korea, you see the Federal Reserve carry interest rate high. All the countries in crisis right now. Corona, like global crisis. West African countries are in crisis. You see the situation in Ghana. Inflation jumped all in America. But President Biden came on a crisis in America. Because of inflation, Biden had a fight. And listen to a lot of economists be celebrating inflation coming down small. Because the last small thing when inflation go up, everybody's a pinch in your pocket. Everybody feels it. You're there.
Stimulus.
Yes. So inflation. So all the challenges Corona brought. The story of Liberia to George Weah with Corona is that George Weah has performed well. People ask him, but how you manage? George Weah revenue was protected. Revenue actually increased during Corona. Domestic revenue increased during Corona. Inflation came down. He said, how you doing it? He said, you guys are responsible. I said, no borrowing from the central bank. The last government used to just take central bank money and pay salary. That had all the reserve came down. The one I'm telling you about, say 337 to 110. Like either you take the central bank money, you pay government salary, you not put the money back. You take the central bank money, you take government salary. You take the central bank money, you go, you chase a money changer to exchange rate. The exchange rate under United Party came from 55 US dollar to 55 Liberian dollar to $1 US in 2006. By the time they were leaving office, you know the exchange rate was 125. So their whole policy was to manage the exchange rate to stay stable. It did not stay stable for 12 years. It was 55 to 1, and it ended up being 125 to 1 over that 12-year period. All that time, they took the country reserve, they 227 million to waste it beyond aid, to waste it beyond pay government salary, not pay back. Now, when you pay government salary, you're not wasting the money. But you got to put it back. The dog hole, they didn't cover hole. The dog hole for the man look at the hole, he put money back in the hole, he covered their hole. Then now the man is say they won't move from power. But the Liberian people will get answer for them on Tuesday. So, all the propagandists can't prove me wrong with these numbers I'm talking about. The people who manage the country, Joseph Boakai, who created this wreck, and we inherited. Where in 2007 or 8, they made a decision to take 3,000 and 5,000 people off the government payroll. They retired people. They took people off. 5,000. If those people were still on the payroll, between their time and our time, the government would have paid them almost $100 million. So those people, those Liberians who were taken from the payroll were deprived of government earnings to the tune of 100 million United States dollars today. That's the government that's supposed to replace. When George Weah came to power, he had a same decision to make. Whether to put 5,000 Liberians down. What decision did George Weah make? George Weah put Liberians who were not on the payroll. He put them there. That's the decision George Weah made. He created fiscal space. Something called fiscal space creation. Finding fiscal space. He looked at the budget and found fiscal space. When the partners rejected 2,300 of our people, thanks to them, they paid these people for 12 years. 12 million a year times 2 and a half. 144 million. Joseph Boakai did not have to spend from the government budget. Why he didn't use that to build Lofa Road? And the question the Lofa people should ask him, Uncle, why when you were not paying the health workers, when the donors were paying the health workers, why did not take this money to do road in Lofa or to do the road in the southeast? So we now see why the woman said opportunities were squandered. I am here defining for you what it means by we squander the opportunities. When George Weah came, the president took the 2000. But it was not an easy decision. The first decision, the president said that we got a cut. The president said, let's cut my salary and let's do a proper cut. To make special, so that cut generated something around 7 million to be able to accommodate some of those people. Then we went and did other radical things. Scratch card. I mean, look, me, Minister of Finance, I do not see scratch card. Okay, I'm on some bulls. The only time I see a scratch card when some of the bulls are on the bring a scratch card and they bring cash slip to me. As minister, I don't get a scratch card. Scratch card to the tune of $5,000 used to expire in people's pockets in this country. Not scratch card, but what do you call it? Gas slip. Gas coupon about 5,000 used to expire. Ministers and other people used to carry to the gas station and give it. They said, no, it expired. So, okay, yeah. How do people use the country money? The people who want can take over. People who can be on radio talking, say they want to policy, how they use the country money. You call it, you call your own. You get in the government by calling your own salary. Me, I want to make 8,000 yo. Me, I want to make 4,000 yo. I had the government there. No system. Poor country. One man make $25,000, a teacher make $45 immigration. And that Joseph Boakai government, look at that kind of disparity for 12 years. That's the kind of thing our people were through. George Weah had to fix that mess. You were confronted with challenge, put people on the payroll. Then the reform they started, the crazy reform they started under Joseph Boakai and the former finance minister, Amar Kole, who were there. You know what they did? They took Ministry of Finance salary way up. Where we sitting here, civil service. They took the salary way up. Civil Service Association, Civil Service Agency, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Gender, and the Foreign Ministry. All of them, the people workers had a higher salary. The rest of the government, they stopped. Because why? They figured out they did not have money to carry the whole government up, so they would start with only 4. It's like you have 100 workers. You take 10 of the workers, you take their pay from $100, you carry it to $700. Then you reach to the point and say, but I will not be able to have money to do the other 90. Okay, you're the other 90 worker. You're pretty wait in 3 years down with you. And the situation was in this country here. And the situation George Weah inherited. So what George Weah then did, they say it's unfair for 4 government entities, for a secretary in the ministry of, I'm my own ministry. You might be happy with me, that's fine. I'm my own ministry. There were people there who were secretary making 2,000, who were making higher than the secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture. It is unfair to the country for one staff to make that kind of money with the same skill and the other staff makes peanuts. We're all moral beings. Yeah, we can play politics. But the George Weah was not elected to play politics with the lives of Liberia. He was elected to make tough choices. Liberians are happy, Liberians are not happy. The majority of Liberians at the end of the day, we appreciate it. So this is what we did. Some of the health workers who were brought on the government payroll were not paying taxes. The NGO thing I talked about, the 2003, they were not paying taxes. The challenge is that when we brought them on the government payroll, then they had to pay taxes. Some of them are interpreting that tax as a cut. It is not a cut. Every Liberian must pay tax. And so the 2,300 people started paying taxes. Some of them interpreted it as government cutting them because NGOs were not taking that tax from them. Some of them are interpreting Social Security. Social Security, the law said, every citizen must pay 4%. When you retire at age 60, 65, the government will pay you that money back. That is not a tax cut. That is not a tax cut. That is your future savings. When you no longer are able to work for the government or a private entity, the Social Security Agency, the Social Security will then pay you that money. In America, in France, all over it is there. Some of the workers are taking the 4% to interpret and tell people that, no, the opposition people are telling that the propaganda say the government cutting you, even though that your own money, the government saving when you retire. We have the opportunity to clarify that. When you talk, we talked some of these things before, but the noise plenty. Okay, so that's what Judge we are inheriting, and that's what we are fixing. What this report has done, and we're going to talk about the report now, is to say, listen, after all these painful, difficult choices, you're fixing this, you're fixing that, you're putting supplementary teachers on the payroll, and voluntary teachers, 3,000 voluntary teachers. For 12 years, Joseph Boakai did not put them on the payroll. These teachers work for free across the country. They were volunteers for 12 years. United Party did not put one volunteer teacher on the payroll. In 2020, we put 2,800 of them on the payroll. The president in two weeks ago announced that there will be no voluntary teacher or any health worker in the country. So that means there are about 1,700 more volunteers that are still there teaching. They are now going to be qualified as full-time teachers. We're preparing the budget now. In January, they are gone. In the health sector as well, all volunteers will be absorbed. But that decision was already made in 2020. That speech that Joe Boakai gave, he already took that decision 2020. He brought 2,800 people on already. I tell the balance people, because we're looking for more money to expand. Then he said, listen, since you don't have to spend 53 million next year for elections, and since I have generated 123 million in domestic revenue, you're hearing me? Judge, we have raised domestic revenue 120 million with or without COVID, with or without Ukraine war. Despite macro crisis, revenue is now up by 3% of GDP, or 120 million. He said, we use some of that 55, increase government salary. We use it to deal with some of the private sector issues. People want loans. We put it there, and then we look at some of it. We put it in education because we're looking for money to improve education. That's how we spend that 55. Now we're not spending on election next year, and we don't have to spend it on election for 6 years. By the time he reaches that 6 years, revenue increase can go to 6% of GDP till we get another 100 million with all the things that are happening here. Now the man you say you will retire.
That striker?
That move, merci.
Yeah.
You don't see, you see my move, merci, or Ronaldo on the feet. Where you not see that one? Where you see the cell Ronaldo down the cell, merci down? Where? Then they run behind the coach down there. I play the stair with break. So like the people do, yeah, it's true. Some people got confused. It's true. Some people look at it like, so what the people protesting, what the people say the country has. Some people saw other things. But then what people now know, some people now know, so what? The man has done well. You think how we paying all these roads? How you paying for free tuition? How you paying for free wax? $40 million free tuition, free wax on the bill for the government. $40 million. 12 years, Joseph Boakai like $80 million. Where did they with that $80 million? Where did they with the 144 for the healthcare worker? So those are the monies that they should be asking for. Where did they with the 27 million for the central bank? I mean the 227 million for the central bank. You talking about money missing? And the money missing is the headline there. Tomorrow, the headline should say, what happened to the 227 million? The headline should go to the central bank report and ask the former government how to account for it. All the newspaper, all of you here, write the headline. You ask the tough question. You write the editorial because this is an objective fact. That CBR report, you go there and do the subtraction. You ask all the government, the people who are running the country, what did they with the 227 million? Yeah, you ask them. So today, we now are able to stand objectively. Last year, the report came up, but we didn't make it big much, right? Like we're doing it now. Because we knew this day was coming. In fact, I remember Ben Sandy asking me a question. will you pass the next year? And I told Ben Savi, when I only pass, we passed 12 last year. I said, we will increase our pass. He said, you sure? And I pass. This is to tell you that not guess right here. The president been putting us under pressure about these things, about improving governance ever since. The president declared this year a year of governance. Last year, all the government systems that were broken. People talk about audit. Let me tell you. You ask all the people there. Let them go read the consolidated audit. The biggest challenge we have faced with audit in this country is that government people take government money and they don't want to pay. They don't want to do financial reporting. So when the auditor goes to audit, he says, I can't see the financial report, so I can't audit. So the revenue account under the United Party was disclaimed by John Molu. The same John Molu who is now supporting that side, told that side he disclaimed them because he said he didn't have sufficient financial information to even audit them. The same John Molu who on that side. So these people are now on these sides for objective truth. They are taking these positions because of what they want for politics. So the other reports are there. The consolidated have been disclaimed severally. It was the biggest challenge at GSC. When we took over, we started to improve, so we can't do this. Let the people audit. Listen, let them audit and find what they have to find, but let the report say something. Right. So now we move from disclaimer where it said no information. We work now, and we are being able to say you have a lot of information, then we go to adverse opinion. So under our government, we've had adverse opinion, yeah. And then we move from adverse opinion in the special budget year, we move to unqualified opinion. There will be issues there, no problem. Some of the reason why you can even hear some of the issues is because of the very transparency of the government to make all this information available to the public. Whether that road fund, whether that this. There's nothing wrong going on there. These are transparencies. Every year, the Minister of Fiscal year, every year, Samora, we send every week all fiscal data to the IMF. When we're doing that, the IMF, the guy who was here, you call him Jeff, the former IMF mission country director. The man said, you sure you can do this? For the IMF to see your fiscal spending every week, it's going to be intrusive. Say, well, we got to hide. Do it. We got nothing to hide. Now, the old government has something to hide. That they took 200 million of debt, they put it under the table. We took that debt money and put it on the table. Then the former finance minister saw the debt went up high. He said, oh, the government borrowed their money because the debt was something like 300 million. You had 200. And correct it, bring it to 500. The former finance minister said, oh, the government had borrowed 200 million. They put spot in the country. When I'm challenging, he said to you that debt, you the one borrowed that money, you hiding it. I only expose it. And the people who go on that side, they say, where they going, they come in. They've messed this country up. They messed it up. And President Tweah and his team are facing it. A significant challenge we take out and tackle. We'll talk about some of that through the scorecard to see, so you get a fair sense of the level of challenge that we have. MCC scorecard, the minister told you what it means. Well, the first meaning we want to draw from it, and everybody drawing from it right now, because let me tell you, there used to be something called the World Bank Doing Business Report. That report is no longer coming out because there was some corruption with that report. So there was too much competition because investors were looking at the report too much. So people started doing all kind of things with that report until countries say, we don't need it, the thing is not fair. So the small problem happened to that report. The bank board has continued the report. Right now there is a discussion as to how do you replace that doing business report. So there is no doing business report right now. So the only report now that you got to go look at now has to be what? The MCC report. That was trending right now in the absence of the doing business report, which is no longer being published. So everybody pay attention. MCC report, when you pass it means, it's not about MCC business. It's just that it's about the quality of governance in the country. We ourselves take interest in improving all of these sectors that MCC report looks at. All of these sectors, we take interest in improving it for the report, for the betterment of the lives of our people. The other benefit is that yes, you get a chance to apply for a compact grant. It can be 300 million, it can be 500 million. We'll talk about all of that one now. So the report has major parts: economic freedom, ruling justly, and investing